me leave countries. Let's see percentage profit that was generated from the different roast types. So I'm just going to paste from what I created. Okay, and let me stick with a funnel chart. Now, though the items are not much, but okay, so let me not try to be too creative today. Let me just stick with what's going to be easy to interpret. All right, so I'm adding this, and I want this to be for percentage profit. So I'm undoing this, and this is for total profit. Are we still together, guys? Are we together? Are we good? Are we still making sense? Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Okay, so I have to do those edits again, but you see the reason why using a copy makes sense, okay? Because it saves you a lot of stress. Now, let's see. Legend is fine. I don't want a name, a title for my legend, because it's obvious from my chart title. Slices. Now in charts, in a bar chart you had bars, right? In a pie chart you have slices. Okay, so no qualms. Okay, so that's what that was. Okay, and detail labels outside. You could change the value format, because this is not going to be very professional. Having 1.34k is not going to be very professional. Okay, so you may want them as they are, and then percent decimal places is 2, value decimal places we could have it too. This is profit, right? So it can be in decimal. Okay, you could, okay, let's change this to 1 decimal place. All right, like I said, it's not going to be professional having a visual showing 1.3k, right? That's not it. That won't be a very professional dashboard. And we seem to be almost good on that, so let's go over to general to change our title and say roast type, profits percent, and we're going to use a subtitle to explain percentage of profit. Okay, so we're almost done for a very simple dashboard. We're almost done. Let me use a tree map just to show us what a tree map would have done. So let's say I want to reveal insights on country basis. Okay. So I select a tree map, and I want to bring country. So country is on customers. Oh yeah, there's something I wanted to show us how to do, how to filter. I think I just remember. Okay, so in each coffee type now, we could now see how much each country made. So we know that United States generated the highest for each of the different country types. Already this is telling us first that light coffee has light roast types have the most what are we summarizing here? Has the most quantity sold, followed by medium, before dark. Okay, you could see that 964, 928, and 868. Now in each of them, you now have based on how much. Okay, so in light now we have this amount for United States, followed by Ireland, followed by United Kingdom. Same thing here, same thing here. Okay, but that's not what I want to show. Let's have a bar chart, and what I want to show is I want to see the top 5 customers. Okay, the top 5 customers that have bought. All right, I want to show the top 5 customers that have bought. Now, to do that, I'm not engaging country. I'm going to need roast type, but I'm going to need it in legend. So let it be there first. Now I want to bring customer ID in as my x-axis. Now, of course, this is a problem. Not customer ID, rather customer name. Customer name. Because I would love to know the names of my customers. All right. And you could see this is difficult to interpret because I can barely see the name of any person. All right. So I want to stick with maybe I want to do for the top 5 customers. I want to show information for the top 5 customers. And I'm going to put on my filters. Okay. Now, based on this visual already, it's saying customer name and quantity sold. Now, roast type is also here. So what am I going to filter on? So in quantity sold, I'm going to change this to, if I want to put a particular value, I can go ahead and put it here that based on blah 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 blah, less than this, greater than that. So if I filter that, and remember this is filter on this visual, so it doesn't affect other charts. If I want to do what will affect all other charts, I'm going to do that here. If it's on all the multiple pages, I'm going to do that here. Okay. So I'm sticking with this. In customer name, I could do basic filtering, which is I want to filter maybe certain customers to look at, but I want to see top N, right? And I want to see top 5. Now it's asking me add data fields here. And what are we doing? What did we use? From others, we use quantity. So if I drag quantity here, so I'm telling it top 5 based on total quantity. So it's now giving me information for the top 5 customers based on the total quantity that they have bought. Okay, so I now have for the top 5. All right. If I didn't want this to be quantity, maybe I wanted to see profit. There's that guy, total profit. So I'm going to drag total profit here. So it's now giving me based on who has given me more profit. So this particular dashboard, this particular chart now is now showing me the amount of coffees bought by my top 5 most profitable customers. The amount of coffees bought by my top 5 most profitable customers. So these are the 5 customers that have generated the most profit for me, and the different roast types that they engaged or that they bought. Okay, so let me adjust my charts a bit. Let me bring this guy a bit down. Okay. My chart is becoming crowded a bit. Not necessarily. You hide just so that you know that this is still big enough. Okay, it's just screen that's going to make it look small. Um, I could shrink this a bit and have this somewhere here. Blah, blah, blah. This is not really a good one though. Okay. Okay. So let me do some of the edits on this guy. But guys, I hope I'm making sense of what I'm doing here, yeah? Am I making sense to us guys? Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So like we usually do, I don't want for my legend, I don't want a name, I don't want a title for my legend. Now the reason why it's not length for this particular legend title thing is because I'm using the very first example where I allowed it, maybe when I copied it or so. Maybe there was no legend rather. So every time there's a legend, the title will be there. So if I don't want that anymore, I'll have to copy from one where I don't have that legend issue. Okay. Let's say I'm fine with the other things. Let's go to general so I can edit my title and say most profitable customers. Okay, and I can have my subtitle. I could have my subtitle as amount but quantity but um, top five top five profitable top five customers. My text is long, abi. Top five customers with the most. Top five customers with most profits. Right? With the most profit. Let's stick with that. Could reduce the font so it could contain more. Okay. Beautiful. Let me find a way to summarize my chart now because I seem to now begin to have a lot going on. Now, the other things I would love to introduce into my charts are items like slicers, which help us to summarize or filter our entire data. For example, if I put on slicers, um, the next thing we want to do is introduce slicers to our chart. So basically what slicers do is they filter our entire data based on certain variables. So if I so let me create a copy again. Excuse me. And remember the reason why I'm creating a copy is so I don't have to go through the route of redesigning. This time around, I don't really want um, so many noise. I don't want subtitle. Even the title itself, I'm a bit skeptical. So let's see. Let's say I want a slicer. I want a slicer. Where they are? Okay, yeah. This is an old version of slicer, and this a more recent one. Now, for my slicer, I'm going to not have for roast. I want the fields to be based on, let's say, country, or let's say loyalty card. Let's say loyalty card. Now, basically, what I'm doing is if you click on no, It filters the entire data to give us information for loyal customers that don't have loyalty card. Right, if I click on yes, filters the data to give me for those that have loyalty card. Right, so you can see even the names of customers changed, right, with the data. And that's how the new one looks like. This is how the old one looks like. It's more of a checkbox, which is not very visually fine. So we are going to edit that a bit. Single select, shape, layout. That's where we have a work. Maximum rows shown, maximum column 2. Right, so I could have that size. Spaces between buttons, we could shrink that. Okay, what I'm trying to do is, okay, so the only issue here now is I would need to add a header to that. So it's not going to make sense if it doesn't have a header. Please guys, so our assignment will be to build a dashboard on this our data. That's going to be our assignment for the week, and you're going to do better than I have done, because you're going to do multiple dashboards. You're not going to build one like this. For me, I've built just one dashboard focusing on roast types. Right, you could decide to focus your own dashboard on countries, right, of the data. Everything just boils down to what you want to review. Okay, I had put off let me check. So title was off. All right. Loyalty card. Yeah, should make this bigger. Okay. So now, if you want to change the theme, you could go to format. Okay, no, that's an Excel. That's an Excel where you could design the theme for your slicer. All right, buttons. You could fill based on the color that you want. So let's, right, if you want to do something like that, I don't know. I don't know. Thought was that. Okay, good. So let's say I'm sticking with this as a slicer. Let me create another one for countries. So not loyalty card this time. Where's that country? So for country, now I had set columns to 2. So I'm going to change that to maximum columns should be 3. Okay, and then change my title to country. So if I want to see the region or the most profitable customers in each region, if I click on United Kingdom, it now give me for the entire United Kingdom, Ireland, United States, and so on and so forth. I could clear this to have everything back. Okay, so that's what your slices are. I could decide to add um, for coffee type. We've done for roast type. So let's say coffee names. Let me add another slicer for coffee names. Not not loyalty card or coffee type. and increase layout to 4 maximum column. Okay, so let me just spread this out. Oh no, no, let me just copy by the copy. So we could have and let's change this to not loyalty card. This is for coffee card. Okay, beautiful. So let me give this guy space to breathe. And then last but not the least, I want to put cards. Very important. What have I done? I want to introduce cards, so I'm changing this to a card. So basically, cards reveal information. For example, I want to know the number of customers, right, from orders. If I drag that to data, it's trying to tell me first customer ID, but that's not what I want. I want the count of distinct customers that we had there. Hold on. So we have about 913 customers. Hold on, let me remove the transparency in this. I don't want title for this. Reason being that for my visual I could do that. Layout. So you could put multiple layouts. Okay, basically. Hold on. So I want number of customers. I want total profit, and I want total quantity, because basically those are the things are involved. I showed profits, I showed quantity. Okay, I showed quantity. So yes, total quantity ordered. Okay. So for all of them, I can reduce the fonts so they could fit in somewhere. Still reduce. I think this is okay for the values. Um, let's see for labels. We could reduce the font of the label. Bold it. Of course. So to resize these cards. Size narrow. Okay. So these are just finishing touches, right? These are just finishing touches. And I don't have so much space to do so much. Okay, so let me edit the labels one by one. So let me start from the first one, which is count of customer ID, and let me change the label to customers. Okay, or maybe customer account. All right, and let this just be total profit. Meanwhile, there's so much more you could do beyond what I've done here. There's so much more you could do beyond what I have done here. One team, one in the assignment that we gave, one person even added a background image to the entire sales report, which is commendable for that level of ingenuity. So for the labels, let's let's increase the font size a bit, and for the values, just a little reduce the size of these um, cards. That's the final thing you want to do there. Not being able to do that very well. So customer. That's what I'm looking for. Ah, la la la. I guess let me just save us the stress and just reduce the size of this column values. So it's just the labels that are left, no, the values rather that are left. Let's reduce it a bit more. And we don't want uh, something else I want to do. Something else I want to do. Let's see, journal. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure that they are not in. Okay. I don't like this K. This K. Well, guys, I guess that one is just defeating me. Or maybe I'm overthinking this thing now. Okay. But basically, we're almost done. Um, mm, Let me just undo those. Yep. I should look for a way to do that, but I can't remember right now. Alright, there should be a way to express, yeah, it should be the sum of total profit values exactly. So I've gotten it. So display units, none. Okay, better. Uh, Quantity sold as well. Sum of quantity sold and then display units. No, so okay, okay. So I'm going to match the break here on my dashboard. So I've built a simple dashboard, not very concise, but if we could achieve this in 1 hour 20 minutes or thereabouts, I think I've done pretty well. So guys, how did I do? So I have this interactive dashboard that tells me for different customers, gives me customer count, total profit, quantity sold. So I could easily filter to pick a particular product to see who bought the most of those products, how much trend of that particular coffee type, and the different coffee roasts, as well as the number of sales that were made and the profits generated from each of them. So it's a very nice dashboard. If I'm done, I could export as a PDF. And I guess I'll share this with us. So this is what everybody should submit to me before Wednesday. Not Don't submit to me. Drop it in this group here. When you are done, export it as a PDF and share to the group. When you're done, export as a PDF like this and share to the group. Are we good? Are we good, guys?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
good.
So I believe we've learned a lot today. So I'll be looking forward to some awesome dashboards. I'll be looking forward to some really awesome dashboards. So let me save this in my downloads. Let's call this um, coffee report. Done something like this before, right? So coffee reports. Then I'm going to save that, and I'm going. So now, as a picture is not going to be interactive. If you want to share the interactive dashboard, you're going to share the Power BI file. Okay. If you want to share the interactive dashboard, what I have to do is save. Give it whatever name, coffee. Um, I could save it. And then when I share this with you, just like how some of you shared your assignment with me as a Power BI file, then I could have access to this. So I'm going to share this as well as our